Last spring, a man wrote a check for $412,000 for a brand new 40-footer. 40 slips down the same pier sits a boat that will sail to the same islands, sleep the same two people, and still be floating long after both of them are gone. She sold for $61,000. The difference between those two numbers isn't a better boat. It's a worse decision. $350,000. That's the price of the badge. I'm on a dock in Harbor Springs, Michigan, up on Little Traverse Bay, where the water runs clear enough to count the stones under a keel from the finger pier. Two boats, same length, same dream of pointing a bow south and going. One cost 7 times the other. And only one of those two owners is going to be sailing next summer instead of making payments. Nobody lied to the man who bought new. The broker was pleasant, the boat was gorgeous, and every figure in the brochure was true. He walked him around the drop-down transom and the 3 cabins and asked what he wanted his monthly payment to be. He sold him room. And a new boat smell nobody has ever managed to bottle. What he never said out loud is the one number that decides everything after you sign. What that boat is worth the morning after, and the morning after that. So today, 6 used sailboats that make buying new look like exactly what it is. The most expensive way there is to go sailing. I'll give you the boat, the price, the new boat it shames, and where the money hides, because there's always one honest flaw. One of the 6 I'm going to defend, the one the classic boat crowd, me included, loves to sneer at. And the boat that makes new look craziest of all, I saved for last. Let's get into them. First, the arithmetic underneath all 6. A new production cruiser loses 40 to 50% of her value in the first 5 years, and the slide doesn't flatten out until around year 10. A new 40 from the big French yard runs $320,000 stripped, $400,000 rigged and sailing. 5 years on, half of it is gone, burning off while she sits on her lines. Every boat on this list already did its falling, 10, 20, 30 years ago on somebody else's dime. That's the whole trick. One bill they all share, so hear it now. The standing rigging, the wire holding the mast up, has a working life of 10 to 15 years, and a re-rig on a 40-footer runs $6,000 to $10,000. Take that off the asking price before you step aboard, and you'll never overpay. Now, the boats. We start at number 6, the Niagara 35. And if you sail freshwater, you know the shape. That low trunk cabin, and just about the sweetest sheer line Mark Ellis ever put on paper. Hinterhaller built 260 of them up in St. Catharines, Ontario, and roughly half came south into the States. What the buyer sees is an old 35-footer for used minivan money, high 20s for an honest one, low 60s for a cherished one. What he's actually looking at is a boat, the same yard that built the non-such put together to a standard the production lines walked away from decades ago. The honest flaw is balsa cord decks. After 40 years, the water works in around the chain plates and the mast step, so you put a moisture meter on her and walk away from a soft one. Carry that as a discount, not a defect. And here's the number that should stop you cold. A freshwater Niagara 35, a boat that never once had salt touch her, sells for less than a single year of the depreciation on that new boat down the dock. 1 year. She'll still be sailing long after the loan on the new one is paid off. Number 5, the Passport 40, and now we're talking about a genuine ocean boat. Bob Perry drew her in 1980. If you've been with me since the early videos, that name should land, because Perry drew the Valiant 40 we put in our very first countdown, and he built the Passport on the same underbody. He took the interior straight out of the Islander Freeport we pulled apart a while back, married it to the Valiant's hull, and gave her a proper transom instead of his usual canoe stern. 148 came out of the King Dragon Yard in Taiwan. A clean one runs $100,000 to $160,000. Real money, and I won't pretend otherwise. But set her beside a new offshore 40 with this pedigree, one that can carry a couple across the Pacific, and the new boat starts around $700,000 and climbs past $1 million. The Passport does the same ocean, and to my eye does it better, for the price of the new boat's tax bill and options list. The honest flaw is the engine and the teak. A lot carry teak decks that are now a 5-figure decision, and the original diesels are old enough that a repower can run $50,000. So find the one already glassed and already repowered, and let the last owner carry that freight. The new boat has a warranty. This one has a wake 3 oceans long. Number 4 is the boat you cannot buy new at any price, because nobody builds like this anymore. The Gozzard 36. Ted Gozzard drew her, and his own family built her, just 84 hulls, at North Castle Marine in Goddard, Ontario. A clipper bow, a true cutter rig carrying 1,000 square feet of sail, and a boat that measures 36 feet on deck but stretches past 42 with the bowsprit. These were semi-custom, joinery fitted by hand by a man who started out as a carpenter's apprentice in England. You'll pay for it. Clean ones run from the high 80s up past $200,000. And here's why that's a bargain. Go price a new semi-custom cruiser built to this standard by hand. You can't. The yards that did it are mostly gone, and the 2 or 3 left will quote you $500,000 and a 2-year wait. The Gozzard already exists, already sailed, sitting on a broker's list this week. The flaw is the core, balsa cord in the hull, so on a boat this age you pay for a survey that puts a meter on every fitting. Find a dry one, and you've bought craftsmanship the market simply forgot to charge full price for. And a great many are freshwater boats, kept up here on the lakes their whole lives. Which brings me to the one on this list I already know some of you are going to fight me on. Number 3, and here's where I argue against my own channel. Because I've spent 5 boats telling you old is better, and now I'm going to stand up for the very thing I usually warn you off, the modern production boat. The white one. The Beneteau, the Jeanneau, the twin-wheel 40 this channel loves to write off as a rental unit with a mast. Take a Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 440. Brand new, that boat stickers north of $500,000 by the time she's sailing away. A 2018 example, 6 years old, with every commissioning bug and warranty gremlin fixed on the first owner's dime, sells today for around $240,000. The man who bought her new absorbed $250,000 in 6 years. He paid the depreciation and the shakedown both. You get the sorted warranty-era boat with his loss already baked out of the price. Is she a bluewater boat? No, and I wouldn't send you across an ocean in her. But for the couple who wants the coast, the Chesapeake, the islands in season, a lightly used late-model production boat is the purest version of everything this video is about. Somebody has to pay a new boat's depreciation. It does not have to be you. On the right budget, it's the smartest math on the list. If that's the kind of arithmetic the man with the brochure will never do in front of you, do me one favor before the last 2, and they make the strongest case of all. Tap that like button, then hit subscribe. I put these out every week, and the next boat is always already on the dock. Number 2, the Hallberg-Rassy 36. German Frères drew her, and if that name rings a bell, it should, because he's the same hand behind the Hylas 44 we sailed through a few videos back. Hallberg-Rassy built 600 of these in Sweden through the 1990s, a center cockpit cruiser with a fixed windscreen and a shear line that turns heads in any harbor on Earth. Now the contrast. A good HR-36 sells in the States for around $130,000 to $170,000. The boat that replaced her in the lineup, the brand new 40C, same yard, same designer, the same Swedish hands, starts at $725,000. $725,000. Stand aboard both, and the 30-year-old boat is not one bit less of a boat. The same teak, the same faultless glasswork, the same knack for taking a North Sea gale and keeping her crew dry and level-headed below. The honest flaw is parts and patience. A component for a 30-year-old Swedish boat is neither cheap nor quick. You order it, and you wait for it to cross an ocean to reach you. Price that in. Pay $725,000 for the new badge, or buy the same yard's work, broken in and sorted, for a fifth of it, and put the other $500,000 in the cruising kitty. One of those is a decision. The other is a feeling with a payment book attached. And number one, the boat that makes new look craziest of all. The Little Harbor 44. Ted Hood drew her, and there's your last callback, because Hood is the man who drew the Bristol 40 I put at the very top of the forgotten boats list. He didn't just design boats, he built them under his own name in Marblehead, Massachusetts, and the Little Harbor. 44 may be the finest thing that ever wore the label. 15 of them. Hand-laid hulls, a keel centerboard that draws 5 feet with the board up so you can slip into the Bahamas, 10 feet down when you need to claw off a lee shore, and a shape that takes a seaway like she's being paid by the mile. A good one sells today for $150,000 to $220,000. Now go try to order her new. You can't. Little Harbor is gone. The closest a dealer can put you on, a hand-built, semi-custom shoal draft cruiser of this pedigree, starts north of $1.5 million and mostly isn't offered at all. This is a boat that was better than new the day she launched, and she costs less than the depreciation alone on a production 50. The honest flaw isn't the centerboard, though that pennant and trunk are a maintenance item. It's the standard she holds you to. A boat built this well expects to be kept this well. Let it slide for a few seasons, and bringing her back is real money. Keep her right, and she'll never leave you wishing you'd bought new. That's the whole list. So what would I do with my own money? If I had $150,000 and a plan to point a bow at open water, I'd chase the Passport 40, get her repowered and re-rigged, and never look over my shoulder. A sorted Perry hull is the cheapest honest ticket to anywhere I know. If I wanted the last best boat of my life and had the money to reach for her, I'd hunt down a dry Little Harbor 44 and buy her, knowing I'd never do better. And if the budget were tight and the dream were the coast, not the open ocean, I'd swallow my pride and buy the 6-year-old Jeanneau. Let the first owner's loss be my gain and go sailing this season instead of dreaming about it for 5 more. Not one of those is the boat the salesman wants you standing on. His boat has a warranty, a smell, and a payment book. Every one of mine has already done the thing his boat only promises. Now, every figure I just handed you was an asking price. And an asking price is the one number in this whole business that isn't real. There's a way to walk up to a seller, say a number out loud, and read the silence that comes back, an offer that earns a yes instead of a slammed hatch, and 2 survey findings worth thousands at the table if you know how to use them. That's the next one, and I'll walk you through it line by line. Until then, don't let anybody rush you off the dock and into the boat that's easy to buy. The right one is the boat that's easy to keep, easy to afford, and still floating solid under you on the far side of the ocean, long after the new boat down the dock has quietly turned into somebody else's depreciation. Fair wins.